Morning, y'all. Got my car back. It's been like a week and a half, so that's good. Got a lot of energy. Didn't really want to make a video. Had to go to the city north to get my vehicle. And once again, see your vehicle, and once again, your hidden choice. Which is, it's what it is. I can't say it's fine just because it does hurt, and it's caused a lot of hurt for so long, with the lies and the using and the spiritual warfare that it's brought. And God shows, this stuff. So us people like to, when we learn things, we want to tell people, and I'm learning that not everybody's going to be able to take it or want it or believe it. They might not experience it. I don't really know. I'm not God. I do know that Satan blinds eyes, and the more you're involved in things, the more you're not going to see it. It's when you break from it that you can see it. But I do know that Satan, he'll attack our desires or our area that we're lacking in, like Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve, they had everything, and it was perfect. And then the enemy was like, about that fruit. And he planted that seed in them, and then they went with it. And the enemy does this. He knows our desires. He knows us very well. He waits for his time to attack. And he'll do it with people or our decisions. He'll go off of hurts, anger. He thrives off these things. Thrives. It's like moss in the middle of the summer. It thrives off warmer water, and the bacteria and algae just grow. So it's what it is to a point. But I've been so blind to a user for so long, and it's amazingly crazy. It's hard to feel bad when you hurt so much because of the using. I don't know. Going to take a little drive, try to clear my head some. It's a hard time, and God and the enemy are both trying to pull us in directions. So I know God is the winner, and He's the strong one. I'm a feeler, and I've felt things for a long time. I feel emotion, I feel spirits, and not a lot of people understand that, but I'm sure more than I know do. So when you isolate yourself from good, you're in an environment the enemy can use to damage you and to get you trapped. But I know hurt and anger, hunger, when your body is weak and we're hurting, the enemy comes in and attacks that. We're not up to our strength. He starts to attack our mind, and our mind is the battleground for the enemy. And every time we do the right thing, or we're spiritually doing a rep, and when we're not, we're spiritually going backwards. And our company, we know whether or not we want to admit it, or we feel like we are not able to change them. We can. It's just a choice. Everything's a choice. This walk is a choice every day. It says to pick up your cross every day. Every day the crucifixion. Every day the persecution. But he gives us a way out. Just like I posted yesterday, it's 1 Corinthians 10:13. But he gives us a way out. And it's not anything that we can't bear. But we have to choose to bear it. And so we can walk past that temptation. It's not that we won't be tempted anymore, but the more that we flee that, the more that temptation is not. The enemy's going to try other things. So he says to stay vigilant. And there's a reason for it, because the enemy is watching us. And we know this, or we say we do, and then we don't act like it, and it's very hard. If you're out in the wilderness or out in the savannah, or a meadow or whatever, we know that there's prey, but if we don't see it, we feel okay. But we often see, if we watch Animal Planet or a movie, then we see that nearby is that that lion, that hyena. So, but the enemy, he is a deceptor, and God has you where you should be at, but that doesn't mean that God doesn't have people around you for you to walk out of your purpose, for you to settle and not level up. And it's very hard. And I think I put it in a video the other day, and I'm really trying to just get away from the video. It's just the hurt hurts, and at times I'm like, you know what? This hurt I'm going to use to help someone that can understand. And maybe the right person will see this, and the right person might not see it. I don't have a big channel, and I'm not out there looking for that attention. Honestly, I want to practice in being invisible, and that's hard because I know the enemy's had me invisible in a lot of ways by my own choice. But I can see the enemy working in many people in my life, and I can see God working in people in my life, and those are the ones that I need to be around and to confide in, because not everybody you confide in is walking with God. And with that, there's going to be deception and using. The enemy is a thief, and if you're open to people all the way and they take it and wrong you, that's a thief of emotion and your spirit. Ultimately, you only can blame yourself, but it still hurts. And I am not starting the day out on a right direction that I want to walk in letting go and being strong through adversity. It's a lot of things are happening quick and not just once in a while anymore. So I know that God is at work and he's showing me something, but I also know that the enemy is at work and he's trying to have me be blind to what God is showing me and trying to plant fear into me in the unknown direction that God is taking me. And it doesn't do me much good to somewhat know that, because if I really knew that, I would be embracing that. But nothing. I remember in grade school, I was the person that was friends with everyone, and my friend Stormy told me that if I was friends with Tyler, this is like 3rd grade, that she wouldn't be my friend. And I still was both of their friends, because that's lame. And people are still behaving like that today. And I mean, I see it with families, and I see it personally around me, and others. You're gonna rock with who you know is good, not your feelings or hurts or this or that. Rock with the ones that have been there and have poured into you. And if we accept that people aren't perfect, and they're in life, you learn and you grow, but you know in your heart, and God has put it on your soul, that's where you should be at. But not everybody knows these things or has the strength to be able to do that. So it's hard to pray for people that you know are being used and let it happen. That you warned, and you still warn, and the enemy is stealing those warnings, stealing those pouring ins. And that makes some people mad when people are mad when this trailer says vengeance. People are mad when they kind of know something but they aren't walking in it, and they're not walking in the power of it. So we get mad, or we become haters if we have self-control and we don't show that we're angry. We become haters. It's like, I know what it's like to be around like some church people, and they are just so happy with God, like, and it doesn't seem possible. And like, but that is possible. I'm not there, and I've been there when God first came, but I was so young, and I still had desires in my heart that I never asked God to change, that the enemy eventually was able to manipulate and take advantage of. But I know what it's like to be just in love with God from when you wake up to when you go to bed. And I want to be there again. Today was not a great start of the day, and today's kind of a difficult day because everything is a choice, and you're gonna be judged either way. I have school today, and everything in me doesn't want to go, just because I don't want to be seen and let that feel like that's anything. But also, I have homework and an assignment that when we had a power outage here last week or whatever, that I didn't see, and I got a bad grade on it, and so I can get half of it. And I know that being in my own place is often doesn't give me that great of a headspace. It doesn't mean that it would be that way every time. I think that I can change more than I know. Just going through real life. I don't want to just say life. I'm going through real life. The real life that eyes don't see. Eyes only see the physical that is going on in the spiritual. Playing with the enemy and being near the enemy is what the enemy will use. People you allow in your life. This one's crappy, 3 weeks of what you said, and then what you didn't allow, what you said, and then what you're clearly allowing, and that door open. And I don't get to know everything, because that could be all a lie. It probably is. But that door open is just the inedible, and it's exactly what the enemy will use. And I know that I can't have the door open either, because the enemy's been able to use that time after time, and to hurt me, and to have me being used, have me still continue to be persecuted to no end, and all the good that I am and that God is in me is covered. That's the enemy. I'm of the light, and the light has no partake with the darkness. All things will be revealed in the light that's in the dark. It just hurts to know this and then to see it. I gave spirit, emotion, my physical, and so many other parts of me, and they were true. And I'm going to stand on the rock. Everything I've said, and the way I go about myself through whatever changes or hate, vengeance, I will choose love and forgiveness. I can only pray. When we let the enemy in, he has a toe on us. And eventually, we're just ensnared. The time is now. Prophecies we're nearly 600 out of 700 and something prophecies checked off. And all those 600, 100% of them happened the way that the Bible said it would. They're getting ready to create the third white temple. Before that, they needed... God doesn't need anything, but they needed a heifer without blemish or flaw. There's 4 of them right now, and they've had them for 3 years, and they have to allow them to grow to right age before. So only one of them needs to stay that for them to do that, and then they're already waiting for that third white temple. So the enemy is going to attack us to the very end, because he knows it's the end, and he's going to have us have our eyes off of God and have us away from fully submitted into God, because he wants to take everyone he can down, because he's a hater, and he's an angry loser. So I pray for you guys, all of you, and I asked for prayer. I'm so tired of being used and lied to and then tossed like nothing for the same old choice. It's inedible, and I called the future before. You will get married. God gives the real thing, and the enemy gives us a knockoff. We have to grow from our hurt and wounds, or we allow God not be there and we let the enemy control us. Pray for me, guys. I need to eat today.